Saudi Arabia's crown prince landed in Egypt on Sunday to meet President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi. In his first public foreign trip since becoming crown prince last year, Mohammed bin Salman is going to discuss bilateral ties and regional issues with the Egyptian president. Egypt and Saudi Arabia have cemented ties since Sisi took power after ousting the Muslim Brotherhood in 2013. Cairo supports Riyadh in its military campaign against Yemen. Bin Salman's visit, some argue, might change the course of the war in Yemen.
I think he is trying to push because the war can never have an end until you send troops in Yemen to achieve gains and control certain cities and certain areas. But the Egyptian army made it clear that they can provide logistic supplies. They can help also on the siege on Yemen, this illegal siege by its navy, but they were not ready and prepared to go into the battlefield and fight on the ground. So I don't think that the Egyptian army will change its mind and change its strategy in the war in Yemen. They are ready to support and help, but not fight on the ground.
Last year, Egypt joined a Saudi-led boycott of Qatar. It also agreed to hand over 2 Red Sea islands to Saudi Arabia, despite widespread criticism at home. Bin Salman's first trip as crown prince is symbolically a moment for him to put Riyadh's best foot forward on the world stage. However, as Andrew Bowen, a scholar at the American Enterprise Institute, puts it, it comes at a time of uncertainty and turbulence at home, and he has an upward task of both selling to the business community that Saudi Arabia is a stable and safe place to do business, and that he has a steady hand on foreign policy despite Qatar and Yemen. This certainly won't be an easy sell. The world views the parties engaged in the Yemen war, including Saudi Arabia and its allies, as well as those selling arms to the kingdom, such as the UK and the US, as war criminals.
In fact, the whole world now is saying that what is happening in Yemen is war crimes, and those responsible should be really tried in The Hague. Would it be the Saudi crown prince, the generals of the Saudi army, or all the mercenaries who are helping them, and also those in the West who are providing and supplying them with weapons. As for the people in Egypt, the regime actually doesn't care and doesn't give attention to what the people say or protest against. They only take care of what the army decides and what the army wants, and the army will never send its troops to fight on ground in Yemen for the reason known to all.
Bin Salman's visit to Egypt will be followed by a trip to London on March the 7th and a trip to the United States on March the 19th. Egypt had once intervened in Yemen in the 1960s, which turned out to be a long, costly quagmire, or as the media described it, Vietnam. The Egyptian president at the time, Gamal Abdel Nasser, chose in vain to intervene in Yemen in support of a coup led by military officers seeking to oust the country's monarchy in 1962. More than 10,000 Egyptian soldiers died, and the country ran up massive war debts.
That was actually the first step towards destroying and distributing the powers of the Egyptian army as a first step towards the humiliating defeat in the 1967 war by Israel. So they wanted the Egyptian army to be involved in Yemen, to be destroyed. So when Israel launched its aggressive war against Egypt, Syria, and Jordan in June 1967, already the Egyptian army was half absent and half destroyed and all its weapons have been misused and stolen in this war in Yemen.
As has often been the case in Yemen's history, foreign adventures rarely go as planned.